Welcome back, darlings. This week's video features this Mini of my neighbour's. Now, she's warned me that this might be a little bit dirty because she's been out for the dog walks with her niece. The thing is, some people have got very different ideas about what dirty is. So I've not looked inside yet. I'm expecting the worst. Let's have a quick look. Oh, that's not that bad. Let me show you. Okay, so I'm going to start off on the inside. That doesn't look too bad. A good vacuum, a bit of a wipe down. Probably going to use Rinseless everywhere for wiping down inside, to be honest. Do all the glass with that as well. And then I'll get on with the outside. But I'll bring you inside so you can see me do some work. Okay, so first things first, make sure the seats are all the way back. These are already, which is cool. What I like to do is use a duster to get all of the very light dust off from all the high surfaces, swept down, either contained in the bristles of this, well, bristles, it's a microfiber brush, so into that, or down on the floor. So it means I'm going to suck them up. And it's less work to do later on with a detail brush or an actual vacuum cleaner. So you can see there's a fair amount. I don't know if it will come off in the footage, but a fair amount is appearing. Normally I'd wear my respirator when I'm doing this, but because I'm talking to you, I can't. But yeah, this is such a quick time saver. These are Sainsbury's, by the way. But yeah, it's a quick little time saver. Get this out of the way, put that back later. They just really let you get into all the little spaces. Now, obviously, a full detail brush is going to be required later on. But at least then I'm just doing with the stuff that I couldn't get with this. This is more stubborn, like inside the vents, or you know, like stuff down here. Just sweep it onto the floor. I could just suck it up, and I will in a bit. I'm just gonna get the worst bits off here though. Yeah. Oh yeah, now that'll be in here. It's a bit tricky, but it'll be more of a job with the vacuum cleaner. So that was really quick, but I've cleaned off a lot very fast. Words failing me there. Just do the same with the door cards, just get the worst of it off. Now I'm leaving this in real time so you can actually see what it is that I do and the speed that I do it at. I'm interested to know if anyone else is any quicker, any other techniques they've got for being faster. But really, if anyone's doing this and you do it in your own car, I think, God, I wish this could be quicker. There's only so much you can do. It is a laborious job. The only way to really get it done more quickly is by doing it more frequently, so there's less work to do. This car, as I said, isn't that bad, really, all things considered. You might be looking at this and balking, going, oh, God, that's terrible. Well, maybe you're someone that looks after your car and cleans it every week. Or you could be looking at that and going, oh, I can only dream my car being as clean as that after a few months like it's been. I know the feeling, right? If you've got kids, the chances are that your car will get a lot worse much more quickly. Or if you've got an active lifestyle where you do lots of outdoor activities that produce a lot of mud, mountain biking, cross-country running, anything that involves taking something in the car and taking it out, all those sorts of things lead to mucky cars, and you just have to go about it in a certain methodical way. You can't really cheat. I'm using the tools. They're helping me get there more quickly and more efficiently, but there still is only so fast that you can go. And that's just the nature of the game. But watching me do this for the entire time it took to get this far isn't going to be that interesting. So what I'm going to do is speed us up a little bit now, because I know, and you know, that there's only so long you can sit and watch me do this. having done all the other high work, it's now time to do the mats. Now, I always leave the mats in to start with and vacuum them off before taking them out, because I don't want to dump more dirt into the carpet underneath that's fixed to the car. And the reason being, the mat carpet is often a lot better quality than the car carpets, and therefore it's much easier to get the dirt out of those mats. It sits on top rather than really getting deeply embedded. So I do it this way. Other people have different approaches. I find that this one works best for me. And I think it's a good bit of advice, really. I often, on a good maintenance clean where it isn't too dirty underneath the mats, will just lift the edges of the mats and run the nozzle around underneath. So I don't even need to take them out. However, this needed a little bit more around the pedals, so I took it out. My steering wheel wants to be star of the show, so I better speed this up a little bit, really. One of those really long crevice tools is incredibly helpful, I find. Good for getting down the side of the seat bolsters, but also just not having to reach so far in to get to where you're trying to clean. And little brush nozzles are useful too, which I had on for a brief bit there. Every tool serves its purpose, and each of those tools helps you be more efficient, a bit faster, and get better results more quickly. I guess that's really what we're aiming for, and that's where they come in. Talking of tools that help, this is the turbo brush. You've probably seen it in a few of my other videos, but if you're new to the channel, it is a vacuum brush head, effectively. I'm trying to think of a better way of saying that, but I didn't have it. It makes a huge difference. It's not as ferocious as a drill brush, but it is sort of like halfway there, and it is directly attached to the vacuum cleaner, of course, so it does just immediately suck up what is coming out. So it's really good to get a more thorough clean of a mat or carpet without having to go down the full drill brush route, and therefore it's more efficient again, quicker, means you can make your money quicker, or you can get the task done quicker, whichever way it hits you. All the dry work's done now, so it's time for the wet work. What I mean by that is wiping down muddy sills, doors, cleaning the glass. Now, unusually, I'm going to start with the glass, and that is because I am using a rinseless wash. In this case, it is CarPro Eco. And yeah, so the easiest thing is, because I'm using the same product everywhere, I'll start on the glass, buff that off, do the door cards quickly, and then if I get any overrun, I can just wipe it off again because it's the same stuff. So, also, rinseless wash is one of the best glass cleaners you can get in terms of ease, overall ease, and the results and finishes it gets. So, there we go. So for the door, so you see these are all pretty muddy. Rinse this on a scrub pad. The scrub pad is like the hack, really, because it gets deep into the pores. So you just have to give it a good scrub. You can't just wipe over. You get deep into that. I can even come back and do the foot pedals last. They're the muckiest things, right? So that, buff that off. And we'll come back and have a little look at it in a minute. Let's give this a quick squeeze out. Let's go do the door. Do the door card and the seat. So there's definitely some sort of dressing on here because it's gone a bit streaky. So giving that a good scrub around here will instantly improve the look of all of that. Now, after that thoroughly riveting lesson, I will speed up the rest of the footage so you can see what I'm doing. But it's the same process everywhere, and it is just slow. Yeah, if it's dirty and you need to do all the surfaces, it just takes a while. You can't really speed it up and hack it. The thing I've done to speed it up for me, more than anything else, is using Rinseless everywhere. Obviously, if it is incredibly dirty, you'll have to use something different like Polestar from Koch Chemie. Once the interior was done, though, I was able to move on to the wheels. Now, these had a pre-soak of Bilt Hamber Surf X HD at 1:4, and you see my other videos are on that. There's a link up the top there, all down in the description, on how to use Surf X HD as a wheel cleaner. It is mega effective, but these wheels were pretty bad, so I actually went on with some auto wheel after this pre-rinse. But I wanted to show you how long it takes to do a thorough pre-rinse on a dirty wheel, which is what I'm doing here. I could have gone in straight with an acidic wheel cleaner, but the video I was making for that wasn't to include that, so this is why I've gone down this route. But still, you'd have had to do a contact wash. These were that bad that they needed it. So it's had a nice soak with Surfex for about 5 minutes. Now I'm putting on the auto wheel after I've done the rinsing down, and I'll leave that for about 5 minutes. Auto wheel is a brilliant wheel cleaner, as I think you probably all know. It's probably the best fallout removing wheel cleaner. But yeah, it still needs a little time to work. Oh yeah, you can see that coming up. There's obviously a lot in here. Now the brake caliper here is too close, even for a wheel woolly or something like that. So what you have to do is you have to roll the car backwards or forwards. So I'm going to clean the rest of it first, and then I'll do all the wheels and then just come back and do the bits that I can't get to behind the caliper. So really, I need to roll it back enough that that is here, and it's clear. I know it's got all the space. All right. So to get to this stage, that auto wheel has been dwelling for about 5 or so minutes. The interesting thing for me really is to point out that it takes, without the elapsed time of the chemical soaking, it took me about 8 minutes to do each wheel, which is quite time consuming when you look at the fact that there are obviously 4 of them. And then there was 5 minutes of dwell for the auto wheel, and it's about 5 minutes of dwell for the Surfex. Now, when things are dwelling, you can often do other bits like getting other things ready for the next stage, or you could be getting other equipment out if you've gone and put like the Surfex on first as the wheel cleaner, or if you sprayed your acidic wheel cleaner on, you could be getting your pressure washer set up or filling your buckets. So it's not dead or wasted time. It just means that it's time that's included in wheel cleaning. So overall, let's say it took me 8 minutes per wheel with just the spraying down and cleaning and rinsing off. Well, then actually it could have taken even longer when you think of the entire car. There's 4 8, so that's obviously, yes, 32. That's already half an hour. But then you've done the dwell time and waiting time. Now, each wheel is probably waiting at the same time, or you do slightly sequentially so the chemicals aren't dwelling too long, but as you work your way around. So if I've cleaned this one just before I did the contact clean, I'll put the wheel cleaner on the next one, so that gets a chance to dwell while I'm doing the cleaning on this one. But it won't dry out and it won't damage the wheel. So that's how I like to work with it. That's my technique. However, you're looking at about 45 minutes to do the wheels, give or take. And it is just a long process when they're this dirty and this bad. So I'm just going to rinse these off. I'm not putting any sealant on these now. It's just something people do on Instagram. You don't need to do it. If you're going to put a foam sealant on, like I will on this one, there's no point doing the wheels separately. It's just a waste of product. But you can see now what the overall level of filth was like on this car. It's not bad. It just needed a good clean. So to aid that, I'm using Koch Chemie VB at 1 to 10 in a pump sprayer. And I'm going to let that dwell for about 3 or so minutes. You don't want to do too much longer than that. Otherwise, it could start damaging the trims because it is a caustic cleaner. Don't be put off by that. It is like Garage Therapy Decon, although they do use different caustic agents. But you can see how effective a good pre-wash is. Or maybe you can't, but these are, I can tell looking at this how clean this is coming up. The interesting thing is there is like zero water behaviour. Now I know Koch Chemie VB rinses really freely, so it's not hanging on the panel and it's not masking water behaviour. It just is really dirty and bonded up on the car. So there's no hydrophobics at all. But this is the sort of speed you need to be going at when you're rinsing, and you need to be really thorough. Again, on a dirty car, if the car isn't so dirty, you can be a lot quicker. I'm talking of quicker, I'm obviously going to speed this up now because watching me do that around the entire car will probably make you cry a little bit. But it's going to take, by the time I get to the end of this, it's been about an hour and a half before I even get into doing the contact wash, and that's been the interior and the wheels basically, and doing the pre-wash. You have to be properly thorough. All right, so I put the Nilfisk lance back on mine because on the P200 I've got this lance with this attachment, which is the under chassis attachment. This is muddy, this car, so it's going to need it. Now, of course, you could have an under chassis cleaner, which are those fancy ones on wheels that rolls backwards and forwards. They're very, very good. They're just quite expensive. And this nozzle was about £20, I think, to go on the end of my Nilfisk, and it does the job just as well. And now, just a case of doing the door sills quickly inside, and then we can get on with contact wash. Now, obviously, when you're doing this, you have to be a little bit careful, but you don't need to worry about getting some splashes of water inside the car. It is not going to harm it, right? They're not that temperamental or susceptible to a little bit of water spraying around. It's a fine mist of what goes inside the cabin. It's cool. Getting onto the contact wash now. I 2-bucket method still, and I'm using the Huygens sponge, or as it's now known, the Sponge Guru sponge. I really like these. I've had them since I think it was wax stocked about 3 years ago. really like them. And I still 2-bucket, but look how dirty the rinse water is getting. And you know how good I did the pre-wash on this car. So there's a reason I still like the 2-bucket method. Giving it a rinse down, I then dried it and applied a sealant. Didn't have any footage of that. But then we get on to trim dressing, because that's cool. This is Garage Therapy trim at 1 to 4. I found this works really well. Very dilutable, obviously. It goes down to 1 to 10, but I found 1 to 4 to be a really good sweet spot that has pretty good durability. And these minis really do need some sort of treatment on their plastics because they fade so badly. And it really ages the car. Whereas you do this and you stand back afterwards and think, yeah, that looks fresh and young. It's nice. God, that looks so much better. Now here on this car, these rubbers are particularly bad. So you see the difference already. And you might as well do the interiors while you're there. I've actually using the same applicator but flipped over the other way just so it's cleaner, and finishing off those bits that go up into over the sill, and then go and do the what are they called? What are these bits called? It's gone for me completely. But anyway, you tell me down in the comments. These bits, I'm applying a nice thin layer on it and it just makes it look a bit fresher and newer in there. Do not do the pedals. This is slippery. If it gets wet, you do not want to do the pedals. You don't dress them, okay? And then I've done that all around the inside of the car, and it's a case of time to do the tyres. Now, this time I'm going to use Dodo Juice Dark Matter. I really like this. I think this is the same as Shine Gloss Gummy, and it's very good. It leaves a nice satin finish. You can use it as a trim dressing as well. I just prefer Garage Therapy trim for that. However, I prefer this for tyre dressing. It's more durable and lasts longer than Garage Therapy trim, in my opinion. And you can see what I'm applying it with looks like a bit of an old rag, but actually it is an old interior scrub pad. It's just got a bit knackered, and then I started to use it for this, and it works really well. The little bristles on it help it get into the tyre walls and leaves a nice even finish that you can work around. It would be great if it was like a barrier level in between it, but it's really not that big a deal. Wear a glove while you're doing it, and I just put this back in its own bag afterwards. It's a great way of kind of continuing to use some tools that are kind of past their best. So I'd recommend this to anyone. It works really well and it leaves a nice finish. Now this is a little bit glossy now, but it does dry out to be even more satin than that, and it does look superb. Actually not that dissimilar from Garage Therapy tyre serum. That would be an interesting video to compare, because the way they go about doing this chemically is very different, but the end result actually is quite similar in terms of aesthetics. I wonder what it would be like in terms of durability. Anyway, unfortunately, I don't have any finished footage of this because the images and the files all got corrupted. So I'll have to say thank you very much for sitting and watching this. I hope you've enjoyed seeing it in real time a bit more, and I hope you picked up some tips. Is there any ideas you've got for me, some suggestions I could do things better? Let me know down in the comments. Meanwhile, maybe you want to have a watch of this one, or just subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, darlings, and I shall see you in the next one.